Hey, how's it going, everybody? I think I'm here. I think I figured it out. I've kind of been off this thing for so long. I don't even know if I'm on. I think so. Excuse me. Anyway, I'm back. It's been a while. I think the last time I made a short video was probably a month or so ago. A lot of things have happened since then. I haven't made a live video or any length of video for quite a while. So if you're watching this, I appreciate it. Um, but yeah, I wanted to kind of recap. Um, I guess myself and kind of give you an update on new events or new things that's happening. You can see I've got a little fatter, I think. Definitely got a little grayer. Um, but anyway, excuse me. I started a new type of therapy today um, called cold laser therapy. Anybody that knows, and you can see I've got this on here. Hey, how you doing, Robert? Been a long time. Appreciate you coming in and saying hi. Um, but yeah, I got this thing on my nose here. I've got pulmonary fibrosis in my lungs. That's why I have this. Put my health on a spin the last few years, probably 3 years, close to 3 years. And okay, all right. I'll see you tomorrow. Cool, Robert. That's right. Now I know who you are, Robert. That's right. Thanks, buddy. I will see you tomorrow. I didn't recognize you. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi. But anyway, as I was saying, I started a new therapy today for my lungs for the fibrosis. Last year, this time, I was doing stem cell therapy, so I've been through that. That has been a pretty good benefit. I had Lyme disease, so I don't have aching joints anymore. The stem cells have really helped. As you can see, though, I still have this hose, still require oxygen, which is okay. Definitely had a benefit. The laser therapy that I started hopefully will push me down the road a little bit further. Excuse me. It's I'm not going to say exploratory because there is a lot of research out there, but it's like stem cells was, a year ago. It's not quite mainstream. Um, where was I going to go with this? Since last video I made, I've been to the IU Med Center to talk about getting a new set of lungs. And people have their thoughts about that. As of right now, I don't think I want to do that. I don't want to do it. That's opening a lot of other cans of worms, and I'm willing to talk about it. It certainly doesn't scare me. It can cause problems with kidneys, with liver. It's a lifelong, the rest of your life, taking a lot of different drugs, sometimes a dozen or a couple dozen. There's a lot of recovery. And as of right now, I want to explore a couple other things. So that's what I'm doing with the laser. I had one treatment today. I can definitely tell a difference. I'm not going to say I don't know if it's better or if it's worse. After about 3 or 4, I'll try. I'll probably have a better report on it. But yeah, anyway, I went down to IU and spent 3 days down there on lungs and like the workup and see if I even qualify. And honestly, I was pretty disappointed. I was pretty disappointed on how that works. I just have a lot of issues with the standard medical stuff nowadays. Kind of depressing, kind of bums me out. I can't appreciate how a lot of the thing, how they get to a lot of the points that they're making. And some people say that they're the smartest people in the world, and sometimes I would agree, but not always. And Are you still here, Robert? I need to ask. I should have asked you before. If you're still here, and I don't know if I'm being heard or not. It's been so long since I've been on this thing that I don't even know how to tell if I'm being heard or if I'm just talking into the microphone. So if you're on here, if anybody's on here, please just say, yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. That'd be cool. I appreciate it. But so yeah, I went down, and man, I could tell you some stories, and maybe I'll get the chance to one of these days. I like to talk, and as y'all know from the past, I'm still a professional YouTube watcher. I watch YouTube videos every day, all day. That's all I watch. I watch TV. You can see got some new merch here from Murphy's Diesel. If you haven't, if you don't, check them out. It's a pretty cool channel to watch videos on. He has a lot of good content. Usually puts it out about every week or so. What else? What else been going on? I just kind of got to a point where I felt like I was always trying to figure out how I could make some content or make some better content. And I didn't want to do that. I never started this channel to see how big I could grow it or see how big I could get it. And it's easy to get sidetracked. And I just wanted to share information and pass information around. And if somebody wanted to hear me talk, then they can hear what I have to say. And I like to tell some. When I say stories, I don't mean tall stories. I mean like things that have happened to me. I like to keep it real. I like to keep it raw. And just unscripted. And when I start thinking about what am I having for dinner tonight? Should I film it so it makes good content? It kind of, I felt like I was going astray of what I originally wanted to do. So that's why I've kind of, along with my health and a lot of things that have been going on, important things that I had to focus on, I just kind of stepped back a little bit. And I'm not going to lie, I've kind of had the urge in the last week or two to where I really felt like I wanted to get back into making these videos. There's some type of therapy that I get out of doing this. I really like to do some collaboration where I can have conversations, because when I have conversations with myself, it's always like one line, where if you have multiple people in a conversation, you can talk for a few hours and go, you never know which direction it's going to go. So with that in mind, that being said, if you're watching this video and you have a channel yourself, or I guess even if you don't, we can figure it out. But I know the technology's out there where we can put each other on our screens and we can have conversations. We can talk. I don't mind doing that. If anybody's got a channel they want me on or think that I might be interesting for them, send me an invite. We'll figure it out. I'd like to do it. I'm all about it. If you want to be on this channel, not that it's any big deal, but you want to use this platform, we can make that happen as well. So there's that. I've done that a couple of times and I've really enjoyed it. I go on other people's channels and having the discussions with them. There's a lot to be said about that. What else do I want to talk about? At some point, it's only been one day, one treatment. I'm going to go to the cold laser therapy treatments. I think we decided on 3 times a week. They last about 20 or 30 minutes. Great people that I've been working with. It's at a company called Ortho Laser. Look them up if you have any kind of ailments that you think a laser treatment can help. I don't even know all what they do. They've been willing to work with me and see if we can't make some improvements with my lungs. So that's been great. They've been great to work with to this point. I couldn't say enough about them. So fingers crossed in the future that, I get a lot of benefit out of it. I think I've been participating in red light therapy. I'm fortunate to I'm fortunate to live around the corner from a tanning salon that has a red light bed. So I utilize that every other day. I've gone and I've been laying in it, and benefit from that. Um, that kind of, as humans, we, at least me, I'm 54 years old, and every time we're go out in the sun, we're told to like lather up, put these chemicals on you and block the sun. But I think we need the sun. I think we need the the energy that the sun puts out. Not only does it feel good, but I think our bodies rely on it. And throughout time, we just start blocking all this stuff off. Um, and I don't think it's necessarily healthy for us. I think as a society, we're we're pretty sick. Like I don't mean like mental. I mean like we have a lot of ailments, and sure we live a lot longer nowadays, but and I think this is a whole conversation I'm willing to talk about. What pharmaceuticals are doing to us. It's in the food, it's in the air, it's in the water, it's in the soil. We have pharmaceuticals everywhere, whether it's intentional or non-intentional. People flushing old drugs down the toilet. It contaminates things. It contaminates groundwater in places, and we all just need to pay attention to it. I go down these rabbit holes. I don't know if anybody else does this, but I go down these rabbit holes where my feet are sticking out the rabbit hole. I'm in it so deep, and I have the time to do I have the time to just do all this down the rabbit hole kind of stuff. And I learned stuff where, it's like at my age, I can say like, I know, but then like when you read it, when you find where there's proof to a lot of stuff, um, it just kind of like, it's kind of moving and it's kind of heavy. And I've said some stuff to a couple of my friends, throughout talking and whatnot. And, I look over and I'm having this big speech and it's real important. And I look over and they're like, here, I'm trying to get this in the camera here. They're all like on their phone. And I remember saying like, what are you doing? You're not even listening to what I have to say. Like, this is important. And it's like, gas prices are up, or I got to do this, or I got to do that. And I just wish we would all kind of step back and look at stuff differently, I guess. Speaking of which, my old buddy that I've been on his channel here, Jimmy C and Friends, I think he's making a move across the country. He's on his way back to the east. I think he's moving, but I know he's en route. And Jimmy C, I wish you safe travels, buddy. Maybe we can talk again sometime in the future. But I think if I'm not mistaken, he was moving back. I've kind of been out of the loop for so long. I've made some friends on here that have their own channels, and it's easy to neglect that stuff. So I apologize to anybody that's watching. If you miss my videos, I sure appreciate it, and I'm sorry for not keeping up on a little bit more. I'm going to try to do better. I've been having the hankering to make some more videos. Like I said, I started to kind of worry about myself on, I wanted to find content everywhere, and I didn't want to have my conversations be too boring and, talk about a glass of water. So I just kind of chose the time with my health and important things I had to do. I just kind of chose to kind of back off a little bit. As you can see, I still have everything set up here. Still have my camera and my computer, and obviously my microphone sitting here, and I've got lighting and all that good stuff. So I haven't tore all this down. I don't plan on it. I plan on utilizing it a little bit more now. But I wanted to make a video. I'm going to try to do an hour. I want to do a video just to give an update to everybody, like, what I've been up to, what's going on. As you can see, still on oxygen, still have fibrosis. I don't think it's going to go away. I'm pretty certain it'll never be healed. Truthfully, the only way it'll be healed is with a transplant. At this point, that's a no-go for me. There's a lot of reasons. I'll be glad to get into them. I'm not shy about it. Um, one thing about that is a lot of people think like you do whatever you can to continue living another day, and I'll be honest about that. I don't think that's always the I don't think that's always the thing to do. Um, you don't harm others so you can live another day. You don't go over and steal your neighbor's food so you'll have food to eat. You have to accept and find ways to continue. Um, and I think like I guess the details are I kind of touched base on a little bit ago. Uh, it opens a lot of other cans of worms. That opens some stuff up that could be, it prolongs your life, but then quality of life isn't necessarily the greatest. Hey, I see somebody's in here. How you doing? How's it going? No, here and gone. um so quality of life matters for sure. Hey, see you're back. How's it going? Chime in. We can talk about whatever you want. um but anyway, I don't think like the transplant's going to be the thing for me right now. Maybe in the future. I'm not going to take it all the way off the table. It's a scary thing for me. um So I'm willing to try some other stuff, which is why I'm doing the laser therapy right now. I'm willing to try some new stuff, see if I can't get some benefit from it. While I was having testing done for a transplant. I just had some things like reassured to me through the medical industry that, man, it just scares the hell out of me. And the mentality of some people that are in charge of other people's health is just like, it's just absurd to me. And I notice things, and I don't think everybody acts this way, but like, if somebody's got a degree on the wall back here, behind them that they're proud of, that doesn't make them the smartest people in the world. And it either holds water or it doesn't. It either makes sense or it doesn't. Just because somebody has a degree or paper back there with their name on it that says that they're educated, in my opinion, strictly my opinion. It's what this whole channel is about, is my opinion. Don't take it to the bank. Don't bet your life on anything I say. All I'm trying to do is spark some research yourself, dig into it, jump in the rabbit holes like I do, and find out for yourself. I just like to bring up topics that, in a point of view where a lot of people don't think about, or normally wouldn't say. But yeah, a lot of things about going down to the transplant clinic or hospital. I did 3 days down there. And first and foremost, and we're all going to shake our head and say, yeah, I know. I was down there for 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I paid for my own room. I rented an Airbnb. So it was an apartment that my wife and I rented. By the way, I'm married now. I got married December 22nd. I think I said that before in a couple of videos, but just to reassure, my wife and I stayed in a Airbnb down there. We bought our own food. We bought our own travel down there. And I saw the final bill for the 3 days I was there, and it was $38,000. $38,000 for 3 days. And I think I only had like 3 procedures. Everything else was just like sitting down and talking with people. So one of the first people I talked to, and this says a lot, is a financial person on how I was going to pay for a transplant. And they all assured me, and still currently, that my health and my well-being is their top priority. While they're setting me up with a financial advisor to make sure that I can pay for the advice and the treatment that they're going to give me. And it really gets me thinking about like this isn't like a boob job or a nose job or a tummy tuck. We're talking about breathing. We're talking about my life. Like when I stop, when my lungs quit, that's like, I'm done, over with. That's it. And they're worried about how I'm going to pay for it. And I just find that, I don't know the word to use, maybe absurd. I find it ironic how, they can say my health is the most important thing to them, My well-being is the most important thing to them, but they make sure I can pay for it, which gets me thinking about silly things like to get off of fibrosis, like with my lungs, like cancer. Um, you know, they build whole wings on these hospitals that are worth millions and millions of dollars just for cancer treatment and cancer studies. So in the event of a cure, what are they going to do? Like the cancer wing of the hospital employs lots of people. They've got lots of investment in it. And so I start questioning, like, is it really a priority to make me better? Or is it just to get me along? Is it better to cure me, or financially, is it better to treat me? And we all know the answer to this. We all just have to acknowledge it. I don't know how to fix the problem, and I'll be very clear about this. I do not know how to fix the problem, but I do know there's steps involved. And step number one is you acknowledge there's a problem. That's the first thing that you can ever do about anything, is recognize that there is a problem. Second thing on the list to do is we communicate. We communicate just by talking and listening to each other. That's how we start the progress in solving a problem. So we have to acknowledge it and we have to communicate. At that point, to tell you how dumb I am, I don't know what the next step is. But I can tell you, we have got to communicate. We have to recognize. That's how we're going to solve these problems. And then when we talk about big government, lots of money, big pharma, we talk all about all these big entities out there. What are they doing? Are they solving issues? You know, like the drugs that are being the drugs that are being, and this is what I'm aware of. I'm not on the cutting edge. I don't work in a lab. Don't think I'm the know-all of everything. That's not it at all. I'm simply talking from my point of view. From my point of view, the drugs that are out there that treat the disease I have, which, like I said, is pulmonary fibrosis. There's like, I'll say there's 3 or 4 top of the line ones. And what they do is they progress. They slow the progression of the disease down. They don't cure it. They just slow it down, and it keeps you on the hook. And when I say it keeps you on the hook, and it sounds awful, but you know, as humans, like, we go to war and we bomb and we kill and we slaughter each other. If you think that the medical industry is not interested in like stringing you along so you can pay your bills, you know, they will, and they do. And, you know, I look at things simply and I come up with stuff in my mind that just makes it make sense to me. And one of the things that I say is I've had a lot of doctors and I've kind of liked them, but I also realize, like, if you want to know how much your doctor cares about you, don't pay his bill. If you don't pay his bill, you'll see how much he cares about you and cares about your health. Most of these doctors, 99% of these doctors are so overloaded with patients that the groups they belong to say they have to have. Some of these doctors have to see 30 or 40 or even more patients a day. And you think you matter? Like, I had problems with my shoulder. I'll say a year and a half ago, maybe. It was what's called a frozen shoulder. And I woke up one day and it just wouldn't work. Like, I couldn't raise my shoulder. And I'd never heard of it before, but it's literally called a frozen shoulder. And I went and seen this specialist about it. And as I walked in, I walked past like 10 exam rooms, and there were people in each exam room. And this poor doctor was a specialist, and he had several nurses to tend to everybody. And this poor guy was like running from room to room to room to room to room. And he had like 10 rooms that he was like going back and forth and going back and forth. And I felt sorry for him because not because he's got a new boat or because he's got a fancy job where he makes a lot of money. Oh no, I felt sorry for him because, like, I think the majority of the people, the doctors, especially the nurses, the tending people, I think they really want to do good. I really think they do care about you, but the governing bodies that keep them going, they could care less. And they just, like, here's an example. When I was down at IU, I met I met a doctor. He was an R, or not a doctor, a nurse. He was an RN. And yeah, that's right. I say he was like I think he was 60 or 61 years old. Man that had been a RN like basically his whole life. That's what he had done. And we talked, and like it was kind of cool because I thought like this guy's an RN, and like we would be friends outside of here. I would never know. I would have never guessed he was an RN. He was in shape. Like we would be friends. We sat and talked for a long time, joked around with each other, and I think like I always remember I went in and was having a procedure done where they basically put like a wire. I'm trying to hold my arm up here. They put a wire in my wrist, and it ran all the way through, and it came all the way over to my heart, and it came around my heart, and they did some stuff, and then they naturally pulled it back out. But it was an actual surgery and a procedure where I was in an operating room with people around. But the point I'm trying to make is while they were wheeling me into the operating room, he walked by and he touched my hand and he said, "I'll see you when you get out." Point of the story is he was a great guy. He was a great nurse. He was a great human being. And those are the kind of people like our medical industry is like, there's a lot of them there. I'm not trying to talk bad about everybody in the medical industry. I'm talking about the guys smoking their cigars, sitting at a boardroom table, looking at dollar signs rather than care of people. And I think it's grown to where we all just accept things. And even we all know that, like, we all know there's corruption and we all know there's bad stuff going on. But like, I had somebody close to me say, "What do you want me to do? Like, I can't fix it. I don't know how to solve it. So what do you want me to do?" And that really got me thinking about that. Like, what do I expect people to do? And my answer is this: you recognize that there's a problem and you talk about it. And I don't know what to do after that. So I'm trying to practice what I preach. I've recognized that there's an issue. And then I sat here and talk into this microphone. I look up there at the camera occasionally. And I just try to talk about it. And I just try to, make other people aware and make other people's brains start to function about stuff that is really important, but our lives are like we're getting preoccupied with other stuff. And I don't think it's anybody's fault, because I think that's how it's designed. It's designed to make you feel that way. You got to go to work tomorrow. You got to pay your mortgage. You got to pay your electric bill. You got to keep the kids in school. Gas prices are going up. Like, I don't have time to think about how the medical industry or the government's gone south, because I got stuff to do. And that's fair. I say it's fair because, I'll be honest. I used to be the same way. I wanted to make good money. I wanted to have a good life. I rode my Harley. I liked to go camping. I fished all the time, and I loved it. And that's why I worked, was to support all that. I didn't have time to sit around and think about how corrupt the government was, or, how corrupt the big pharma was, or I didn't have time to think about stuff that should really be more important. What changed for me is, this hose on my face. It gives me a lot of time to sit around and think about stuff. And I'm a critical thinker anyway. So I like critically think about everything. I'm not going to say to a fault, but some people would say almost to a fault. And I accept it. And then because like my mortality, I don't know how to describe it. And I don't mean this in a morbid way. I don't mean it in like a shithouse way, but like, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel for me. I'm 54 years old. I should last another 20 years, but I don't, according to the research and the disease that I have, and that's just not in the cards. So instead of seeing things from like 1,000-foot view, I see things from like a 500-foot view. And that's part of the reason I like to get on here and, talk about things is because I know there's others out there that have a perspective like mine or even better than mine. But I think it's easy for us to all get used to. Gas prices are going up, and I got to go to work, and I can't worry about what's in the food. I can't worry about you know what doctors are doing because I don't go to the doctor. I don't have time. And then when your world crashes around you and you have to do these things, and then like in my case, I'm sure there's others, but like in my case, I'm a critical thinker, and my my world come crashing down. Um, it forces you to look at things from a different angle, and I can appreciate that, especially now. But I guess the whole point is we all just need to think about what's happening, be aware. Um, like I said, I don't I don't know how to solve the problem. I don't know if there is a solve to the problem, but I know if we acknowledge it and we talk about it, I know we're closer than if we do nothing, and that's cool. I think forward motion is always good. Um, taking taking steps forward instead of leaps and bounds. We do a step at a time. I think that's a good thing. Uh, what else can I talk about? It's been 30 minutes. I've only had a couple people in here. I wish I could get some more, but I neglected this channel for the last few months, so I'm not going to complain at all. Maybe we'll get things built up again, and trying to adjust this light a little bit. There we go. But what else can we talk about? It seems like when I'm sitting around, watching TV or sitting by myself thinking, I have all these topics that I'm like, oh, I could talk about this or I could talk about that. And then I get here and I'm like, yeah, what am I going to talk about next? I can tell you, I've still got a Rumble channel. I may, after I'm done with this, I may go there and, make a short video on there just to keep everything alive. Like I said, I've had some things go on, and I've had to do some soul searching, and we all go through, ups and downs, and I have days where I feel good and days where I don't feel good, and so if anybody's missed me on here, I apologize. I'm going to try to make it, make some more videos, and I keep seeing this hair on here, but yeah, I like to talk about stuff, and like I said, I got a new hat here, Murphy's Diesel. He's got a good channel. I like watching a lot of stuff he gets into. I like the guy's personality. What else can we talk about? Talked about the medical stuff, and this is where somebody else coming in and chiming in, because there's a lot of stuff that I'd like to say. I could tell you some stories as far as like doctors and treatment and stuff like that has went for me. I'm not going to say it's went south, but like I just pay attention to a lot of stuff that I don't think others necessarily do. And I've just got really like a different perspective on things. I hope everybody had a good holiday weekend. I'll be honest with you. I'm disabled. I can't work anymore. Hell, I can't walk from one room to the other without losing my breath. So that's why I don't work. The days kind of lead in from one to the next. My wife still works, so that's how I can keep track of what day of the week it is by her still having to get up and go to work. But I guess I don't know. Life's hard for everybody. But it's a wonderful thing to be alive, and it's a wonderful thing to be around other people. So always just remember that, like especially people you love. We can learn a lot from each other. I don't know. You see my artwork back here. Let me scoot over a little bit. I've got some artwork back here. You see it? My grandkids, birthday presents from my grandkids. Those are handmade. You won't buy that stuff in a store. They're limited special editions. I have the only copies, so that's how lucky I am. You can't see, and I'd reach back there, but I'm afraid I'd knock something over. But this picture right here, if you see, that's on a canvas. Okay, right there, right where my thumb is at. You can see there's a tear in the canvas. And anybody that's watched this video in the past knows that I have a cat running around here. His name's Fig. He's more famous than me. He's got an Instagram page. If you ever want to go on there and look at his page, I think his page is Garage Kitty 2020, something to that effect. I know it's Garage Kitty. He's a tuxedo cat. He's a really good-looking tuxedo cat. But anyway, my oldest granddaughter, drew this picture, and that's obviously me right there. That's me. But right there where the canvas is tore, my little kitty Fig's on the other side of it, a picture she drew of him. And it looks like he's coming through the canvas, which is just a good idea. She does a great job. So Kyrie, thank you. My granddaughters Cora and Valeria. I'm trying to move my hand here. That's where that come from. So I love them both. I love all of my grandkids. So shout out to you guys, Cora, Valeria, Kyrie. Thank you. My grandson, Azure. Shout out to you too. I have 4 grandkids total. Azure, he's golfing this year, so he's got a full menu. He's in the band. I think 2 different parts of the band. At least plays a couple different instruments, and he's taken up golf, so it occupies a lot of his time. I think he's 13 years old, and he does like entry-level college courses in school or something to that degree. I know he's a real smart kid, and I try to remember he's only 13 years old. Real smart, smarter than I am for sure. But I always try to remember he's 13. But anyway, what else you guys want to talk about? I don't want to really talk about politics too much. Iran and Ukraine and all that kind of stuff. I've got an opinion on it, no doubt, but maybe that'll be for another time. The main thing I wanted to do tonight was just like give an update on what I've been up to, and why you haven't seen me on here making the videos that I normally was making. I was doing pretty good, and I'm actually surprised that a couple of my videos, like, they did pretty good, like 1,000, or I think one of them had like 1,600 or 1,800 views, which is pretty good for a dummy like me. I was, and still am pretty proud of that. And it's hard to do this and not want to build the channel, because I don't do this for income, obviously. That's never been my goal. I'd like to build a platform like I have and continue for like networking and talking with people. And then when other people get involved, it just makes things a lot better for me, because I feel like now I feel like I just ramble on, and I know, because of conversations that I have with people, that are sitting here, we have me and some other people, like, we have really good conversations. And it's some people, the people that I know around, they don't want to sit in front of a camera. They don't want to have a microphone in their face to have these conversations. And so that's where I look outward to other YouTube channels, other content creators. If you want to do some collaboration a little bit and just have conversations, I like to think I can have an intelligent conversation with somebody. this is just what I do. I'm not an editor. Hell, it took me 30 minutes to figure out how to make this live video again. That's how not good at it I am. But because of things that I've done already, I know we can get there. So, like I said, if somebody wants to, use the trusty old iPhone, and or even if you got a computer, something you set at, and have a conversation, like, count me in. But I guess that's it. It's been 40 minutes. That's enough to just let you know that I'm still here. I'm still kicking. I've been through a lot. The 3 days I spent in Indianapolis was pretty tough. I'm not going to lie about it. It was pretty tough. And just dealing, like, once again, I'm just honest about things. Dealing with my mental health about what's been going on in the last couple of years has been, sometimes it gets pretty tricky. Just trying to allow yourself to be a certain element of sad, but not too sad, and then not forgetting about what's going on, so that you can be proactive in healing and using what life you have to be happy and just keep connections. I do feel fortunate because I have connections with all my siblings, my daughter, my grandkids. I'm connected, so that's a good thing. I spend a lot of time with my dad, usually at least one time every week. We spend a few hours together, so I cherish that. I talk to my mom regular. I talk to my sisters and my brother pretty often. And anyway, so I'm going to end it, but look for me in the future. I don't know if I'm going to do short videos. I seem to do real good at short videos, but I also like sitting here. Hopefully we can get into some, one-on-one or 3-on-3 or 4-on-4, whatever it takes, talking about just stuff in general. And I'll do what I can do. So reach out, send me an email or a message on here. My email is pretty easy. It's 95sporty1@gmail.com. Just like the name of my channel, 95sporty1. 95sporty, not sporty. What is it? It's 95. It's 95sporty@gmail.com. Leave the one off of it. It's just 95sporty at gmail.com. So if you want to send me a message on there and touch base, by all means, feel free. You can leave a message on here. I'll get it. Aside from that, like, maybe we'll talk in the future. So, all right, everybody. Have a good evening. Talk to you soon.